Join in the Sydney conversation anytime.
Text 0467 922 702 or call 1300 222 702. This is Mornings.
702 ABC Radio Sydney.
25 to 10 at the time. You might have heard about the University of Wollongong's plans to cut more than 100 academic jobs due to a drop in revenue. One of the casualties of the cuts is said to be the Earth Sciences major, a program that trains our future geologists and geotechnical engineers, which are jobs that are actually in big demand. So what does that mean? Sabin Zahirovic is the New South Wales Chair of the Geological Society of Australia and a researcher at the University of Sydney and joins us. Good morning.
Good morning, James.
What does an Earth Sciences major qualify you to do?
Yeah, so Earth Scientists, we're a group of professions that include geologists, geographers, marine scientists, and others. We study and observe, model the past, present, and future of our planet. And as you've been talking about this morning, we're talking about the big challenges that our whole society and civilization is facing, right? We're looking at food, water, energy security in our communities. We're looking at natural hazards. And we're finding and responsibly managing the resources that we need for the renewable energy transition, the net zero emissions targets that even Amy Ramikis was just talking about a few minutes ago. So I think we're quite critical to the national strategic goals of this country.
Yeah, can you, and so what will happen if the University of Wollongong program goes?
Well, we're hemorrhaging Earth Science departments across the country, in New South Wales particularly acute. Now, what's really striking about the Wollongong case is, right, that you are smack bang in the middle of the Illawarra renewable energy zone. You're, in the epicenter where you need skills to build a Snowy 2.0 as the cleanest possible form of battery power. And you need the steelworks there, which is serviced by Earth Scientists, all the materials supplied to service the energy transition, to build wind farms and solar panels and all the other electrification technologies.
And so tell me about the supply of Earth Sciences graduate and the demand for them.
Yep, so we're already at a skills shortage. So we're listed nationally as a skills shortage. And so the problem is that it's a specialized discipline at universities, and we're just a threatened species, essentially, when, the skills of our colleagues at Wollongong and elsewhere are needed the most. You've just heard about it in the news segments, we're losing them. And this is on the back of, just in New South Wales alone, we've lost UTS, Newcastle, Macquarie, significant downsizings at UNSW. So really, we are at a precipice of our national sovereign capabilities in earth science, affecting the whole gamut of, groundwater and water resource management, climate change mitigation, adaptation, and things like addressing things like poverty in our communities, like the food, water, and energy security at local and also national levels.
And I understand University of Wollongong Earth Science program also contributed world-class research on silicosis risk from engineered stone, which turned out to be very important.
Yes, I mean, it's been all over the news over the last 6 months and years that we have experts, world experts, leading and assessing the risk of silicosis in engineered stone and, building and construction, right? Also, I was about to plan an event for flood risks in our communities. And it turns out one of the few remaining earth science specialists is based at the University of Wollongong, right? So whether it's Western Sydney flooding that we just heard about, or whether it's Tamworth or elsewhere in Australia, we're losing these brilliant minds. And as Dale Sims from the AIG has also said, is that once these departments go, they don't come back. And that's a real concern for us as a society.
So are a lot of people, earth science attracting a lot of students? Do people want to study it?
Yeah, so That's one of the issues. It's a singular KPI that the universities are using is the number of student enrollments. And so because we're a small discipline, most students learn about law and business and finance, and lots of people are really, go into the popular disciplines. And a lot of people don't even know that earth science exists as a career option. And that's something we're working on as a society with tremendous urgency. But this is really something we need to accept that, this is a key need for the future sustainability of our economy and our society.
So what do you think the solution is? I mean, you say we need more graduates. It's really important for our future. The University of Wollongong says, well, we've got a revenue problem. Is the solution they should just change their mind, or is there something else you've thought of?
Yeah, look, I think everybody's got a lot of work to do. I mean, including us as academics and researchers, we need to be out in the communities, letting people know what the amazing, incredible opportunities we have in our careers. But also, we need to think about the state and federal governments to establish these kind of mechanisms and levers to intervene when we're at the precipice of losing national sovereign capabilities. I mean, we're entrenching skills shortages in this key area for decades to come, right? And nobody seems to realize this, despite the fact that, the state governments are reaping in billions of dollars of mining and resources royalties every year. That 60% of our national export revenue comes from these sectors, right? And then, of course, you've got agriculture relies on fertilizer, which is either synthesized or mined from these resources as well. So it's a very complicated but very essential thing to get right.
Well, look, if there's anyone listening who has studied earth sciences or perhaps, maybe under a different name, 10 or 20 or 30 or whatever years ago, and you want to speak on behalf of it being a good thing to study and could lead you into an interesting career, give us a call, 1300 222 702, or text in 0467 922 702. Your opportunity to spruik the career that might arrive after studying earth sciences. How would you spruik it?
Well, earth science is a magical way of looking at the world around us, but also really tackling the big UN Sustainable Development Goals, mapping food insecurity in Western Sydney across our nation, targeting, those resources where they're needed, managing the Murray-Darling Basin, creating the resources that we need for the energy transition, addressing these 2030, 2050 targets Amy mentioned. Yeah, we don't need magical new technologies. We just need to deploy the existing stuff we know we have. Yeah. Solar panels, wind farms, and so on, right? And earth scientists are key to that. I mean, any number of materials that go into making these, this is where created and found by earth scientists.
So if the University of Wollongong goes ahead with the cut, there'll be 2 earth science majors left in New South Wales at Sydney Uni and the University of New South Wales. You've described a problem of a looming shortage of earth science majors at a time where it seems like there'll be a great need for them. Have you tried to make governments aware of this, and how have they reacted or not reacted?
Yes. So, look, we're at a stage where Sydney Uni and University of New England actually have very comprehensive earth science, geology majors. UNSW is still there, hanging on, but this is a very concerning trend, right? So, for example, if Sydney Uni were to let go of its earth science department, we're talking about 6 to 8 million people, up to maybe a third of Australia's population not being able to enter a career in earth sciences, right? Now, we've certainly mobilized the whole academic professional community, and industry has finally actually realized that this is an existential threat to the skills base. So now we're all talking to federal and state governments and politicians and other policy stakeholders, because really this is now a matter of urgency.
Yep. But do you, I presume you're not that hopeful about the University of Wollongong, or are you?
Well, look, we're hopeful. We have community members who will be meeting with university management this afternoon, but we can't escape the fact that the financial pressures that the universities are on. I mean, this is a death by 1,000 cuts that's stemming from policies since the 1990s, and if you want, I can go through all of them. But really, we're hoping that we can salvage as much earth science as possible at the University of Wollongong, because truly incredible research and teaching happens there.
Someone just asked, I don't know if you know the answer to this, will students who have started earth science degrees at Wollongong be able to complete it elsewhere?
So, James, I think this is one of the saddest and most really concerning things, right? We had the University of Newcastle close earth science, and some of those students were essentially refugees who then went to Wollongong, right? Now, they've been told that the University of Wollongong will not even teach out the rest of their earth science if this actually goes ahead, which means that they will be forced to move to another department, a third department, to finish their education. And I mean, this is just a tragedy and travesty for our community.
When you say another department, or you mean another university?
Yes, I think the idea is perhaps to send them back to another university in Sydney to complete their studies. But I mean, this is truly suboptimal.
So someone suggests maybe the institute can run their own courses like other institutes did in the past. I used to run exams for institutes of building in the past and developed and ran diploma and higher diplomas for the Singapore of building, cheaper and of comparable quality to universities from Jonty. Could you run your own course? Sounds tricky.
Yes. So look, we've had these discussions internally, but the thing is, to get the accreditations that you need through TEXA, it's just not feasible, right? And so, sure, we can plug in the gaps very temporarily, but the thing is, universities are a source of new knowledge, right? So we had Claire C. Patterson, who was a geochemist. He wanted to figure out the age of the planet using lead isotopes. He discovered lead pollution all over the world, and he generated this program to eradicate lead from all industrial products. We also had universities. We had Marie Tharp, who was by hand mapping the ocean floor, which led to this unifying theory of plate tectonics, which now industry relies upon in all of their exploration, and it explains evolutionary biology. So if we get rid of the university departments, we get rid of innovation and the future knowledge that we need to actually meet society's needs. So I don't think that small, institute training will fix this problem.
Talking to Sabin Zahirovic, the New South Wales chair of the Geological Society of Australia, I think John sums it up well. In a country that depends on mining, we might need a few geologists. That's kind of the nub of your argument, isn't it? I mean, it goes wider than mining, obviously, but that's it, right?
Right. Look, absolutely. Mining, coastal management, energy independence and sovereignty. I mean, we talk about AUKUS, right? The strategic alliance. I mean, submarines, the ingredient list there is incredible. But even if without that, just food, how much fertilizer it requires, and water, of course, is becoming scarcer through climate change and the changes in the hydrological cycle. So earth scientists were, you alluded to before, sometimes we're called geologists, geoscientists, geographers, marine scientists. We're all earth scientists, and we need all of these experts because, the reality, James, is that the rest of the world is scrambling to find this talent too. So it's not like we can just, import and fill these gaps either.
Yeah. Look, thanks so much for your time this morning. Good luck.
Great. Thanks, James.
That's the chair of the New South Wales chair of the Geological Society of Australia, Sabin Zahirovic. You're on ABC Radio Sydney with James O'Loughlin. Ralph is